And recordings here. So welcome to Scrum and Wine. Today is February 10th, 2021. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at out of the storm and into the norm. Bring that up so you can see our screen. Yeah, so Hutch and I will be co-presenting, and this follows the team development model. So if you're familiar with that, basically what that is something that was put together by Bruce Tuckman back in 1965, way before we knew what Agile and Scrum was, maybe before you knew what a computer was, maybe before many of you were born. So that's when he put this together, and it's a model to help teams become high-performing teams. As they learned how to form as a team, they go through the storming phase, which we'll explore today, and how to get out of that storm and become a norming team, and then ultimately to become a high-performing team. So Hutch and I will look at the storming and norming phases today and give you different techniques in order to recognize that you're in the storm or you're a norming team, and how to maintain that and some of the different roles. So it's a growth that we work on over time, and we are constantly helping teams, even if we're a member of the team or we're a coach or a leader. So we'll look at all those different perspectives. So we're going to start with storming. Agile Team's going through the storm, and Hutch is going to take us through this storm. So Hutch, go away, bring the rain, bring the thunder.
Yeah, I was going to say, where are my sound effects? But anyway, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the storming phase. So as Sherman mentioned, the storming phase follows our formed phase, which the teams just get together as far as beginning. And once they've kind of gotten into what they're there for, purposes, then they have to start working together. And working together brings conflict. So let's go to the next slide, Sherman. So we'd like to open up our discussions on each phase with a quote that we think is fairly relevant to the topic that is being discussed. In this case, the storming phase. So our quote here is from Henry Ford, and he said, "Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress, and working together is success." So we want to kind of hit each one of these as part of storming and get to our next phase of norming. So we thought this was an appropriate. All right, storming phase. Conflict in action. Teams should welcome individual conflict and uncertainty in order to emerge out of the storming phase. So we look out of the storming phase as quickly as possible. But in order to do that, we need to expect and anticipate conflict during the phase. So we will be talking, as part of the storming phase, we'll be talking about the characteristics. What are the characteristics of a storming phase? We need to be aware of those so we know that we are actually in this phase. And then once we know that we're in the phase and we're aware of it, what are some of the strategies? What are some of the techniques that can be applied, again, to move us out of the storming phase? Next slide, please. All right, so our overview here, storming phase, key theme for us, getting to know each other. So in general, again, as we mentioned, the storming phase follows the team phase. It's established after the team is formed. The team sorts itself out putting things in order, putting things in place. Again, getting ready to work together to achieve its objective. The storming phase may be awkward and uncomfortable. Like we said, we kind of anticipate and expect conflict, so there may be some awkwardness and uncomfortable activities associated with this phase. Fortunately, though, some teams may jump directly from forming to norming. And the reason that could be the case is, well, of course, you've got team members that have worked together and have established a bond, a relationship, an awareness of how to work together. This jump could also be due to having a great Agile coach like Sherman. So thought I'd put a plug in there for you. But yeah, some teams can jump directly from forming to norming. All right, so let's look at the characteristics of the storming phase. Oh, here we go. So we've identified 7 signs that a team has to know that they're in the storming phase. That first sign is starting with at the top here, within the cloud, top the intra-group conflict. And that is a conflict that can occur as a result of, teams, members of the team expressing concerns about the unknown. We just getting started on what's unknown is the people that makes up the team, what's got to be done and who's doing what. Also, it could be the conflict could be a reaction to expectations that have not been met yet. So again, these are just some causes of potential of intra-group conflict. Next is individual over team. Looking out for number one, because I don't know the other team members. So I have to look out for myself. Next, wrestling for control. What is that? That's really about exhibiting influence, right? Influence that reflects one having importance as part of the team. So this goal is just an initial way to exhibit this form of influence. At the bottom right, lack of trust. And that's just lack of belief and knowledge and awareness, understanding what the capabilities are of your teammates. But initially, there's this lack of trust. Unclear roles. Who's responsible for what? What is my role? How do I fit in? So again, unclear roles initially is part of this phase. Next is lack of transparency. New team members, pretty much holding on to their own work, their own output, their own deliverables, not necessarily sharing with others yet. They don't know who to trust. And then finally, the 7th sign is missing respect. And that is just not valuing your other team members, not appreciating them, just not recognizing them because, again, you just don't know them. So those are the characteristics, 7 signs of the characteristics we're in the storming phase. So now let's talk about how do we get out of it? What are our strategies? What are our techniques? For the leader, if we look at the yellow, be present and engage, the leader needs to be involved, needs to be not isolated, but involved with the activity, know what's going on. The green, set ground rules, set the guidelines. Are there policies that need to be established and communicated? The blue, make clear purpose and mission. What is our vision, right? What is our identity? We got to know what is our team goal and objective. The orange, of course, establishing a one team culture, not an I team, but a T team, right? To help establish identity, to identify a way of working, how's the team going to work together. Yellow, ask empowering questions. You want to start setting the team up to eventually become self-managing in the norming and performing phases. So start to ask those empowering questions and not only obtain, but provide the feedback. Purple, provide inspiration. Okay, you want to motivate the team. You want to encourage the team and get the team excited about working on this project, this goal, this objective, provide insights. The pink, define the roles, define the positions, functions, make clear the roles. Make sure that the team knows their responsibilities. So those are these are 7 techniques for a leader to perform to help move the team out of the storming phase. Within Scrum, we have what we call, of course, the Scrum Master or servant leader. So that servant leader, we feel, has some input into helping the team move out of the storming phase. The light yellow, change the team behavior, but not personalities. So we want the servant leader to start, molding the team behavior, but not changing personalities. The personalities help to establish what the behavior is. The behavior is really an outcome from the personalities. We don't want to change the personalities. We just want to mold that behavior to be able to establish this team culture. Green, Remain positive, model cheerful attitude, be upbeat, have a positive outlook, right? Be cheerful. Blue, exhibit conflict resolution skills. So these are this is one of the key qualities we would like for a servant leader to have. Because we expect conflict during this phase of storming, right? We want to be able to have someone on the team who knows and can exhibit and practice conflict resolution, active listening, being able to identify what is the point of conflict, and then be able to de-escalate that so that it won't be bigger than what that particular situation is. The orange, explain the team development model. Sherman just went through the 4 stages. So the servant leader should be aware of those 4 stages and aware that the team in this case would be in the storming phase and be aware of what are the techniques and strategies to use to move the team out of the storming phase. Yellow, be prepared for a variety of team issues. So the Scrum Master, servant leader, stay ready. You know, be prepared for knowing that your team is in the storming phase, what to do, what practices to apply in order to move them out of the storming phase. Purple, let others act as facilitators and leaders. This is a way of empowering the team, man, bringing the team, helping to bring the team together, letting the team feel important. Let others act as facilitators and leaders. Pink, get everyone to contribute and participate. Let no one be on an island, no remote. Everyone being present, being aware of what's going on, no separation. So these are the 7 strategies for our servant leader. The team itself, we want the team itself to help get itself out of the storming phase. So what should it do? They have to, in the yellow, the light yellow, trust the team members, trust each other, build relationships, start bonding, looking at ways to make a connection with each other, establish rapport, and like I said, build a team bond. The green, place team above the individual. Let's move from the I to a T team, right? Respect each other, build their trust, build the belief in each other. The blue, practice active listening, right? There's some keys to active listening. Understanding what's been said, being able to remember that, and then being able to respond in a way that reflects your understanding, right? So these are some key steps for being able to perform active listening. Orange, tolerate team failure and learn from it. So we want to allow team failure. We do want to allow it or accept it. However, we want to be able to learn and grow from that. Not to dwell on the failure, but dwell on the learning from it. The yellow, for the team, continue working through the storm, push through the storm. Identify ways to look at and to determine and identify progress. Purple, accept that storming challenges are part of the team development. If the servant leader has gone through the team development model and that servant leader gets to the storming phase, then he can explain what the challenges are associated with being in the storming phase. So the team is aware of it. Teams expect it. So there's no surprise associated with conflicts and what have you that's going to occur. And mentioning of conflicts in the pink, have the team don't avoid the conflict, right? Part of conflict resolution is searching for common ground and to again, based on trust and belief in each other, to work out the conflict and learn from it. So these are the 7 techniques for the team. And then the final participant in this in the team is a coach, right? So what are the techniques for a coach to perform? If we go to the green, training. Training is key because we want to be able to, again, improve the skills and provide knowledge to the team so they can carry out their task and the work. The blue, The coach also needs to be able to exhibit conflict resolution skills. And that is, to a certain extent, working with the leader and the servant leader in the orange, where the coach and the leader and servant leader, they work as a team in order to help the overall team, again, to get through the storming phase. The blue, facilitate team building exercises, right? So we want to be able to have team building activities that will help the team to bond, help the team grow their culture and identity. So at the appropriate time, the coach should be able to hold and facilitate these team building activities and exercises. Yellow, guide the team, but don't push. That way, don't manage. You know, the coach should act as a change agent, as a catalyst for the team, guiding, leading, but not managing. Mentor the team. The coach should share their experience, provide feedback, provide advice and support to the team to get through the storming phase. The pink, establish team feedback. So if the coach is providing feedback and can serve as a role model, right, then the team itself can pick up on that and be open to providing feedback to each other. Also in establishing a learning mindset as part of a team accomplishing or achieving agility, is that learning mindset. And then last but not least is the light yellow, perform one-on-one coaching. And that really is at the team level as well as the individual level. Help to the team and the individuals, encourage them to be on the path of self-discovery, where they're learning, right, and growing. And that can be done on an individual or at a team level. So these are just some of the techniques for a coach. And if we are aware, based on the characteristics, if we are aware of the characteristics in the storming phase and know the strategies and techniques that can be applied, we can get ready to be moving to our norming phase and get out of the storm. We can exhale, get out of the storm. Now we're ready to move into our next phase, which is our norming phase. And I'll just hand that over to our coach, Sherman.
Awesome. Thanks, Hutch. All right, great job. Great job, team. Do you guys understand some of the characteristics, behaviors, roles? Important part is recognizing you're in the storm. A lot of times when I coach teams, they don't even know they're in the storm. And a lot of times they just want to run. But if we recognize we're in the storm, we now have things we can do with that. So awesome. Know you're in the storm. We get to the norm. Together, we can make it happen. So let's take a look at our norming phase. Phil Jackson, 11-time NBA winning coach, one-time champion of as a player with the New York Knicks too. So he has 12 championships. The strength of the team is each individual member, and the strength of each member is the team. So what do we do in the norming? We learn how to trust each other. We learn how to come together. And we now have strategies and behaviors we can exhibit and perform in order to be a norming team and maintain being a norming team. Ultimately, we'd love to become a high-performing team, but being that norming team is a very productive team and a very great place to be. If you're a norming team, you want to go to work every day. That's pretty cool. So we're going to look at the different strategies from the leader and team role. We'll look at the different behaviors to know that you're in the norming stage. And we're going to look at some outcomes, right? What happens by being a norming team? What are the outcomes? What really goes on? So we're going to settle into a groove. It's the first thing. So we know we got through that storming phase, or if we had coaching and good Scrum Masters, or we knew each other, we went straight from forming to norming, which is pretty cool. That can happen. Some of those exhibits that you saw in storming might show up here if you're a norming team. So we want to be aware of that. But our identity begins to form as we get here. We change to become team goals instead of individual goals. What do we want to accomplish at a team? What are we trying to do? Another cool thing is that water cooler chat starts to happen. we start to talk to each other in a conversational way, in a fun way. So we like to see that as we get settling into a group, even in our virtual space. Maybe we're using some chat channel and we're just chatting on the side. It's not always about the particular activity that we're working on. So we start to see that in the norming phase. So take a look at the strategies from a leader perspective. What are the techniques they have? I'll start here in the green. So as a leader, we are recognizing team and individual achievements. We're seeing this now as a leader. We start to see that. Awesome. Nice job. We recognize as a leader, we are starting to coach the teams instead of directing or managing them. So if I'm a leader, I recognize, hey, I stopped telling the team, exactly what to do. I now started telling them my desire, my vision. I started asking insightful questions, open-ended, being curious, helping them look from different perspectives. So that's pretty cool. If I recognize myself then a leader, I know I've got a norming team. I help create an empirical environment, one based on inspection, adaptation, and transparency. It's the culture that we're looking for. So if we have that, that is an agile mindset. So as a leader, I'm recognizing that that is happening, and I keep trying to make that thrive. I keep looking to see how can we be more empirical. I look to see what are the group norms. Are there group norms going on with my teams? Are they exhibiting behaviors that helps them grow, that help them normalize? So you look at that. Do they make that visible? How can I help them along that? And maybe that starts to become organic where other teams can pick up on it too. Like we saw earlier, we saw this a little bit, creating opportunities for others to lead. So as a leader, am I doing that? Am I saying, hey, Hutch, you got this? Go ahead, give it a try. We all learn together that way. We know as a team, if anybody can lead, then we can all lead and we can all work together and our team grows. So am I as a leader creating those opportunities? If I'm doing that, my team can hit that norming stage. Do I help the team make decisions on their own? Am I allowing them to be a self-managing team and let them do that, figure it out, go forward, and I keep supplying the vision, strategy, ideas? Are all the roles and responsibilities clear? Does everybody know how they fit in to the organization, to the stakeholders, to the customers, with each other, right? Is that all clear? Do they know why they're here? So if that's all happening as a leader, yeah, we're in the norm. Nice job. We're also going to take a look at this from the team perspective, techniques for the Agile teams to start and continue their norming. So they work together. If we know we're working together to achieve our team goals, we set team goals and we're working to achieve them. Awesome. That's our green. Take a look at the blue. Do we participate in those team activities and tasks? Yeah. And are we a willing participant? Are we always pulled into it, or am I contributing? Am I actually joining? And I want to be there. That's the exhibiting behavior you're looking for as a team. So I'm participating in these. I'm asking to be. I'm joining. As we move into the orange, do I understand the role and responsibility? Not just myself, but everybody. Do I know how we all fit together? You can think of us as a team as a puzzle. Individually, we're just one piece in a box. If we put all our puzzles together, we make something beautiful. We make a beautiful picture. Do I understand everybody else's piece and how they work and how we all collaborate together? We want to be able to accept constructive criticism down there in the darker yellow. We not only want to accept it, we want to invite it, appreciate it. We want to seek it out. All right. Constructive criticism is how we grow. I've been going through a coaching application, some of you might know, and I have a mentor that helps me. And the only way I grow is I constantly ask for, feedback and criticism. What else do I need to do? What's wrong here? Where did I go wrong? Why am I awry on this? And that constructive criticism is awesome. Without that, I exhibit the same behavior over and over again. Same thing we want on our team. Invite that in, ask it, seek it, welcome it. And your leaders and your coaches and your servant leader, they're all going to be able to help you out with that. And they're going to be more than willing to give you that, knowing that you're welcoming it and we grow together. Going to the purple, Open and honest communication kind of goes hand in hand there. But as a team, we need to be open with each other, honest with each other. I have somebody I work with often, and he will actually introduce that way. It's like, you know what? I want to be open and honest with you right here. Great. That just makes me feel relaxed. I'm so glad you're sharing. So can we do that together as a team? Looking at the pink, we talked about avoiding conflict. Don't avoid that conflict. If there's conflict, let's talk about it, right? We want to be able to handle conflict. So we want to talk about the conflict. We want to appreciate that conflict. And same thing, search for the common ground. Out of this conflict, how can we find commonalities so we can stay together as a team? And we need to trust in each other. Always want to do that. So if we trust each other and welcome them, we can try a lot of new things. Trust that people will do the right thing, right? And if we have issues, we know how to be open, honest. We can appreciate that conflict and talk about it, so we're continually growing. If we as a team are exhibiting these techniques, we're in the norming phase. Really awesome. We're doing some amazing things. With that, let's take a look at the behaviors that are exhibited by a norming team. One behavior we look at is unity and cohesion. So as a team, are we exhibiting this behavior? Are we unified and cohesive, right? And we focus on team over individual. Our identity is clear. We know we're working together, all as one, and we're moving in that direction. Second behavior we want to look at is facts over rumor with meaningful conversations. We're always seeking out facts. We act on facts, right? We suppress rumors. So we're looking for those communications that are based on that. And that allows us to be open and honest and welcome that constructive criticism. So that's the behavior that we're seeking as a norming team. Our third one we look at is clear roles and responsibilities with structure over confusion. If we have structure and we're organized, we can make beautiful music together. We can be that orchestra and not just a bunch of single instruments. We learn how to be cross-functional. We learn how to appreciate our individual skills as complementary to each other, right? Those skills together allow us to do things. One person doesn't make that orchestra, but together we can all fulfill it, and we all know how we work together to make it happen. Fourth behavior we exhibit, cooperation and bonding with collaboration over division. So we're always seeking to be collaborative with each other and not divisive. Our connections will be evident. That's a behavior we're going to see. We're going to see we've got this connection. We're connected with each other now. We trust in each other. We know we can have those conversations and trust how it's going to work, right? And siloed work is minimal. We don't see the team just going off into all their different corners, virtually or in person, and not talking to each other at all, right? That's going to be very minimal. If we do it, we might have even put it in our working agreement. Hey, from 10 to 12, we're each going to do personal things, you know, but that's still teamwork. We made a collective decision just to have some personal focus time so we can move forward, or maybe we're pairing up during that time. But that's all about collaborating over being divisive. Fifth behavior we look at, adapt over fixed, team goals focus. We are committed to our team values. We're always looking at our values. What is our value? What is our purpose? Why are we here as a team? We talked about that in the storm. We wanted to figure that out. Our accelerated delivery is apparent, and it's pretty cool. It starts to almost become exponential. If anybody's been on a norming or high performing team, you can kind of feel it, that each and every week we get more done and we get more done and we get more done, because a lot of those things that used to slow us down, the conversations, the trust, the rework, the uncertainty, the lack of support from our leaders, when all of that starts to go away, acceleration becomes really fast, like the race car you see here. And change is embraced. We're always looking for, how can we change? What else can we do? What's different? What do we learn? So we're always adapting over being fixed. Sixth behavior that we'll notice in a norming team, our willingness to share. And we do this with contribute over isolate. Responsive to each other's success. We recognize each other's success. We respond to that. We welcome it. We support it. How can we get more of it? That becomes our DNA. That becomes who we are. It helps us find our culture. When sharing is our DNA, we have now built our own culture. Culture on a wall isn't necessarily a team culture. Culture on a wall is a nice poster. Culture needs to come out and be embraced. And the teams will find their culture. And that's awesome. Look at our 7th behavior. Socialization happens. Awesome. Great. Enjoyment over drudgery. You guys want enjoyment in your day-to-day work? You don't want that drudgery of just doing a job. You want the enjoyment. If you've got the enjoyment in your day-to-day job, you're probably already on a norming team. If everything else that Hutch and I have said so far, and you know, I can't wait to go to work and work with these people, you're already a norming team. Everything else is just for you to say, yeah, we do this, we do this, we do this, great, we do this. How do we stay here? Awesome. That just becomes a checklist you've already checked off, right? That informal interaction happens. We participate in teams activities and we're always seeking to get more. What else can we do, right? Do you have in this virtual space, do you guys just have a spontaneous team happy hour? Hey, anybody want to stay, grab a drink, hang out and chat a little bit? Yeah, if that's happening, beautiful, right? Laughter and joy, they're spontaneous. We're not holding back. We can share our personalities. So if that socialization is happening for your team, that's an awesome behavior. All right, out of those behaviors, what's the outcome? So we're looking at outcome, not output. Output is always a measure of quantity. Outcome is actually having something that's obtainable that makes a difference. So what's the norming outcome that we'll exhibit here? So we'll look at the Norming Manifesto alignment in the next slide, but we have a Norming Manifesto that Hutch and I put together here, and you'll know we're aligned with that. If we're aligned with that Norming Manifesto, wow, we've got a great outcome, and I'll go through that in a moment. Our team culture is established. Like I said, that just happens. Our culture will establish. We'll recognize our culture, how we work together, what gives us joy, what gives us fulfillment. You might have heard sometimes where there's always a happiness metric. And if you want to go farther, we're looking for fulfillment, right? Happiness is always one measure, but we want to be fulfilled in what we do. So as a team, how do we become fulfilled? So team culture will get established. Our productivity and performance will be improved. That's an outcome we will see. It'll just be improved because we work together better as a team. We trust each other. We have a good culture. We're open and honest. We know how to address conflict. We are perpetually in the norming motion. So when we're in the norming phase, we're always looking to stay in that norming phase or say, how can we become high performing? And we might bounce back and forth between high performing and norming. And Hutch and I will share high performing on another Scrum and Wine. But a high performing team, often they struggle to stay there. It's really hard to stay high performing. Like that race car that I showed on one of those slides there. If you push that race car all the time at its peak, it's hard to stay there at the peak. It's got to come down a little bit. It needs that maintenance. So it's bouncing back and forth between high performance and, you know, just working through the track. And it's got to always be maintained. So we go back and forth there. But the more we can stay in high performance and find the way, the more we're likely to be an awesome team. And we obtain product value delivery. So we're not just delivering items and tasks, we're actually delivering value. If your team knows what they're delivering and they know why they're delivering and they know what value they're doing to make a difference for some customer, some user, some group, some organization, if we understand that, that's an outcome that we're trying to see by making a norming team. Let's take a look at the Norming Manifesto. So you saw some of these as we went through the behaviors, but a Norming Manifesto, this is what we want to look at to know we're in the norm, right? We focus on team over individual, always seeking that opportunity. We focus on facts over rumor. We look for structure over confusion. We look for collaboration over division. And we look for adapt over fixed. How do we adapt? We look to contribute over isolate. And we look for enjoyment over drudgery. So this is our manifesto to say, we got this, we're in the norming phase. If you guys put this on the wall in front of your team and say, are we doing these things? Or how can we do more of these? then that's awesome. Then you know these are the outcomes that will be exhibited. Okay, you guys have achieved norming, your success. You're ready to take it to that high performing level. You guys have done it. Pretty awesome. Made it happen. You guys are normalized. Let's take a look at our stages again. So you know your norm. We're aware of our competition. We're aware of who we are. We've gone through the norm, and we're going to look and see how can we ultimately get to be that high performing team. So we'll look at that too. Thanks for going through our presentation with Hutch and I. I'm going to stop the presentation at this point, and I'm going to show you guys more stuff here. I'm going to turn off the recording too, so we can open up questions.